Vizru is a pioneer in zero-code application development platform. Now, when we started Vizru, we had one primary objective, which is to democratize innovation within enterprises. So what do we mean by democratizing innovation? We wanted to empower your business teams to drive innovation within your organization. Because business teams make up for 90% of your workforce. They are close to the problem, they are close to the customers, so naturally, should they not be the one to drive innovation? So with that, today, business teams are using Vizru's Zero Code Studio to design, to develop, as well as to launch enterprise-grade applications with unprecedented flexibility. And best of all, they are able to deliver minimum viable products within weeks. Now, the audience here might wonder, how can you deliver a product within weeks when you have so many data stuck with certain IT systems and integration challenges, steering committees, and so on? So which takes me to the next section on how Vizru is designed. So by design, Vizru is an overlay that sits above your IT ops infrastructure. Now, the reason we have decoupled the zero-code development environment away from your IT operation is because, number one, it eliminates your development bottlenecks for digital transformation. Because today, if you take a digital transformation project, you funnel everything to IT, and IT lacks resources to take them on, hence the bottleneck increases, the pipeline increases. So by decoupling it early on, it relieves the stress for IT and removes the development bottleneck. The second value proposition is now it gives your business team full freedom to innovate faster, smarter, and cheaper. Now, with respect to integrating with your IT system, Vizru's operating system, Zeos, that takes care of 90% of interacting and interfacing with your IT systems on its own. So, this is the future of digital transformation. A few years ago, people talked about shadow IT, but this is collaborative environment. This is about empowering everybody in your organization to have enough freedom to push the boundaries of innovation within your enterprises. Now, I want to talk about a couple of real-life examples of how business teams have transformed their organization. And I'm going to start with BNP Paribas. Now, we worked with BNP Paribas for a few years, and they wanted to deliver something absolutely transformative. They wanted to build what's called as an autonomous claims. That is, being able to process a claim automatically, end to end, from accepting the claim, triaging it intelligently, all the way to disbursement and payment with zero human intervention. Now, this is a tall order because it's not a single point of automation we're talking about. There are 54 decision points that needed to be automated. So at the end of the exercise, Vizru completely automated the entire claims processing. And by doing so, we were able to reduce the claims processing time from 4 weeks to under 42 seconds. Now imagine the possibility and the impact of such a contactless customer support. First, your customers are extremely happy because now they're able to get served under 42 seconds as opposed to 4 weeks. And because of that, your customer retention is going to be sky high. And second, your cost per incident comes down by 90%. And now I want to talk about another example, Wesco. Wesco is one of the largest distribution and logistics companies in the world, and they negotiate cost and price with tens and thousands of suppliers and vendors at any given time across their 500 locations. So the Wesco's innovation team approached us, and they wanted to once again transform that industry. They wanted to eliminate the traditional human-driven negotiation, and they actually approached us and said, can we predict the cost before we go into a negotiation? We did much better than that. Number one, we were able to predict the cost before negotiation at 92% accuracy, and then we were able to predict the range of whatever a floor would be and a ceiling for bargaining. And lastly, we were also able to forecast the probability of the procurement team to be able to close the deal at that cost. Again, transformative. So, taking on a small automation is one, but as Arup mentioned, we are at the new normal where every company that we are talking to, every enterprise that we are working closely with, they are talking about transforming their industry. So we have over 42 frameworks across industries, from insurance, banking, telecommunication, healthcare, and so on. And we'd love to talk to you about each of these use cases after the session. I want to talk about Vizru's RIM strategy for enterprises. Because building an application or automation alone is not enough. It is about extracting value and continue to extract value out of the applications that you've built. So that's where we introduced the RIM strategy, where number one, you can reuse every asset that's being used across other applications that you build. Example, if you take a KYC process, know your customer, which is transferable everywhere, quintessential to most of these organizations. So you build KYC, which most of the customers have built. Once you have the KYC, it gets reused across the board. By reusability, you reduce 70% of total cost of ownership across digital transformation initiatives. And second, our award-winning version control allows you to iterate your ideas. You can build, pilot, fail, tear down, build again, all within weeks. This iteration is quintessential to evolution of your project within digital transformation. And lastly, our exclusive intellectual property module allows you to white label the ideas that you have, because we are working with most of these companies that have certain ideas. While they are automating internally, they see tremendous commercial value. They see a tremendous value to white label. So we have created an exclusive IP strategy, IP intellectual property strategy, to be able to monetize and white label the applications that you've built. So in a nutshell, the companies, the large enterprises we work with, they don't look at as single automation any longer. They're looking at launching their very own internal marketplace. And this, we believe, is democratization within enterprises. And this, we believe, is the future of digital transformation.
What type of apps can business teams build with Vizru?
It's actually an excellent question, because today there is a lot of confusion, because people tend to think about building tactical applications that gets over a bump right now. But with Vizru, we are about enterprise grade applications, which is why most of our customers, you see us on the logos, and most of the customers are $70, $80 billion companies, and we tend to work with long-term contracts, long-term commitment with the customers, because it is about transformation. So when we talk about digital transformation, it's about enterprise grade application. So the reason we are able to deliver the enterprise grade application is because we split our strategy into two. One is a zero code application studio. The second one is the Xeos, which is the Vizru's application operating system that provides stability, performance, and multi-cloud orchestration through Kubernetes. So yes, we are one of the few companies that allows the business teams to deliver enterprise-grade apps.
Fabulous. Excellent. So that brings me to your next point. The next question is, we hear so much about AI. AI has become a household term today. So how does AI sort of get embedded into your system, and how are you using AI to accelerate what you're working on?
Yeah, AI naturally, when the hype cycle hits, it's everybody trying to project it. But a good technology should be behind. So you don't really project the technology, you project the value. So AI within Vizru is pretty much intrinsic on every layer. So the couple of examples that I mentioned, BNP Paribas as well as Vesco, BNP is able to deliver, think about it, with 4 weeks to 42 seconds. The reason we are able to deliver that is because we could use the AI to predict and fast track applications where 82% of them is considered low risk portfolio, and hence we are able to push these claims. And while Vesco, predicting cost and being able to predict the probability with 92% accuracy requires incredible amount of machine learning and 5 years worth of data that's been crunched. So AI within Vizru, pretty much any software, to be honest, it's going to have to be intrinsic. So we have linguistic AI that can do contract negotiation, contract interpretation, and we have applied AI for OCR document processing, and now pure AI where ML models that will enable prediction. So our layers within Vizru pretty much intrinsic within the AI strategy.